Okay, guys, here we are, hole. Forget what hole this is. I think 7. I'm thinking something along the lines of QB, maybe katana, maybe low topspin, no topspin, somewhere in here. We're going to try to get this over as right as possible. Biggest reason is to try to straighten up this wind, maybe give ourselves an angle as well. I'm thinking something along the lines of this, no topspin. From this tee box, maybe 1 topspin. Let's try 1 topspin, just see what that looks like. 6 rings, 6 wind. Make sure you add no power, so you can see that I'm kind of perfectly, or maybe even just a little bit shallow with my, oof. And you can see still almost a little bit too tight. So, I'll try to make a modification. You can see, I set just on the top end of this line. I would probably either kind of change my line and come back just a tad more next time on my initial ring setup. And then, make sure that, when you are going to the right here, that you're not adding any power. Because you can see I almost dumped that shot. It was very close. I was within a ring of clipping that rough on that first hop. So those are the things that you just want to visually be looking for, so you can, when you come back second time, third time, throughout the weekend, that you don't make any mental mistakes and you know exactly the way that your shot's going to play out. So keep all that in mind. You can see it looks like opponent going for a bump here with this side hill plus the side wind. Not the easiest of shots to pull off. I was trying to straighten up my wind as kind of a priority. So getting this far over to the right and potentially giving myself a little bit more of a tailwind, we should be able to give this hopefully a good run even without needing to do this bump here. And it looks like definitely shooting down elevation wise. Thinking something along the lines of maybe this or so. Thinking somewhere along the lines of this for starting point. I would imagine that this is going to be a pretty severe ring play that needs to be done. So I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 or 8.5, at least 8.5, 9. It really comes from shooting down to this lower territory, and even that's a little bit light. So, maybe pushing, and you might want to tighten up your pull angle or your ball guide offset. Just use a little bit more than me, because my depth looked pretty good. But if I pulled my rings just a little bit more to the right, this would have been a better ring adjustment. Because maybe 9 rings there is pretty perfect, but we need to change that angle to where the rings are adjusting more right and less pulling back, because we don't want to really take off any more distance. You can see this is kind of the plane. So I'm only over distance-wise by about half a yard. So there's only so much more I could pull back on that. So more importantly, I need to pull to the right more so than I need to pull down more. So with that in mind, we'll kind of alter that pull angle, and instead of pulling the rings kind of the way that I did with the arrow that way, I'll shift it and make it the arrows to where I'm pulling more to the right, because that'll lead to a better adjustment. So keep all that in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.